Embarrassing. Of all the words my daughter could have used, she chose that one. Dad, you don't speak French. You'd just be sitting there confused. It would be embarrassing for both of us. That was the text she sent me 4 days after I discovered her wedding invitation on someone else's refrigerator. My name is Marcus Reed, 58 years old. For 18 years I saved $150,000 for my daughter's wedding. $694 every month. No vacations, no new truck, just one promise to myself. I would be the one to walk her down the aisle. She told me I would not be there because I don't speak French. I read that text at 2:47 p.m. At 3:40 p.m. I called the wedding planner in Paris. By 3:53 p.m. the $150,000 was gone. She wanted me to be invisible. Fine. My money would be invisible too. Let me tell you who I am. Not who my daughter thinks I am. Not who my ex-wife told her I am. Who I actually am. I own Reed's Automotive. 3 service bays, a waiting room with cracked plastic chairs and coffee that's been on the burner too long, and a wall calendar still showing March because no one remembers to change it. 23 years I've run this place. 23 years of grease under my fingernails, brake dust in my lungs, and the kind of tired that no shower ever washes away. I'm not complaining. I built this. Every socket wrench, every lift, every crack in the concrete floor. I earned it. On the wall behind my desk there used to be a photograph. Harper at 7 years old sitting on my shoulders at the county fair. She's got cotton candy in one hand, the other hand gripping my hair so tight it hurt. Her smile takes up half her face. I kept that photo there for 24 years. Through the divorce, through the empty weekends, through every time I looked at it and wondered where that little girl went. She didn't disappear all at once. It was slow, like watching ice melt. You don't notice until suddenly there's nothing left. Here's what you need to understand about my marriage. I met Evelyn Caldwell in 1989. We were young, stupid, full of the kind of hope that doesn't survive real life. We married in 91, had Harper in 93, and for a while, maybe 5 years, maybe 7, things were good enough. Then Nathan Whitmore showed up. He drove a Mercedes S-Class. First one I'd ever worked on. Needed a timing chain tensioner. 20-minute job. Nothing complicated, but he kept coming back. Oil changes he could have gotten at any dealership. Tire rotations his own mechanics could have done for free. I thought he just liked the service. Thought maybe he appreciated a guy who did honest work at honest prices. Took me 8 months to figure out why he was really there. Evelyn filed for divorce in March 2009. Harper was 16, old enough to understand what was happening, old enough to choose sides. She chose her mother. I don't blame her. Kids usually do. The settlement took almost everything. Evelyn got the house, most of our savings, primary custody of Harper. I got the shop, my tools, and every other weekend. I kept every single one of those weekends. Every one. Even when Evelyn said Harper was at a friend's house. Even when she said Harper wasn't feeling well. Even when she said Harper doesn't want to see you today, Marcus. I'd drive to that house, park in the driveway, wait 20 minutes, sometimes 30. Then I'd drive home because that's what fathers do. They show up even when no one answers the door. Nathan Whitmore married Evelyn 6 months after the divorce was final. He moved into my house, slept in my bed, raised my daughter, and somewhere along the way he became the father she wanted. Nathan owns Whitmore Luxury Group, now 14 dealerships across 3 states. He sells the cars I fix. For a long time I believed I was wrong. 3 weeks ago I got a call from Laura. Laura is Evelyn's younger sister. Lives in Powell, married to a surgeon, 2 kids in college. She's always been the decent one in that family. Sends a Christmas card every year with an actual handwritten note. Asked about my arthritis when I threw my shoulder out in 2020. Marcus, she said on the phone, Harper left some boxes here. Old stuff from college. She mentioned there might be things you'd want. Photo albums, I think. I didn't want to go. Being near Evelyn's orbit still makes my skin crawl. But photo albums meant pictures of Harper when she was little, before when she still looked at me like I hung the moon. So I went. Laura met me at the door with a strange look. The kind of look people get when they know something you don't, when they're deciding whether to tell you. Boxes are in the garage, she said. Help yourself to coffee. I didn't want coffee. I wanted to grab the boxes and leave before I ran into anyone else, but I had to walk through the kitchen to get to the garage. And that's when I saw it on the refrigerator, held up by a magnet shaped like the Eiffel Tower. A card, cream-colored, heavy stock gold lettering that caught the light. The Whitmores and the Lauron family cordially invite you to celebrate the marriage of Harper and Etienne. June 15, Château de Villette, Paris, France. I read it 3 times. The words didn't change. The Whitmores and the Lawrence, not the Reeds, not the Caldwells, the Whitmores. Like I never existed. Like 31 years of being her father was a rough draft edited out of the final version. Marcus. Laura's voice behind me. When did you get this? She didn't answer right away. That told me everything. 3 weeks ago. I thought you knew. I assumed Harper had, she didn't. I took out my phone, photographed the invitation. Every word, every gold letter. Marcus, I'm so sorry. It's fine, Laura. It's not your fault. But it wasn't fine. Nothing about it was fine. I left the boxes in the garage. Couldn't carry them. Couldn't carry anything. In my truck I called Harper. The phone rang 4 times, then voicemail. Her voice professional and distant. You've reached Harper Whitmore. Leave a message. Harper Whitmore. Not Harper Reed. She'd taken Nathan's name years ago, but hearing it still felt like a punch. I didn't leave a message. I called again. Voicemail. I called that night twice, the next day 3 times. Day 3 twice more. 4 days of calls, no answer, no call back, no text saying, sorry dad, I've been busy. Then on day 4 at 2:43 p.m. my phone buzzed. A text message. Not a call, a text. I stared at the notification for a long time before I opened it. Some part of me knew. Some part of me had known since I saw my name missing from that invitation. I opened it. Dad, I was going to tell you the wedding is in Paris. Everything will be in French. The ceremony, the toasts, the reception, everything. You don't speak French. You wouldn't understand a single word. You'd just be sitting there looking lost. And honestly, it would be embarrassing for both of us. Nathan's walking me down the aisle. It makes sense. He knows everyone there speaks the language, fits in with Etienne's family. I hope you understand. I'll FaceTime you after and send lots of photos. Love you. I read it once, then again, then a 3rd time, word by word, like I was reading a contract. Embarrassing for both of us. I said it out loud in my truck alone. Embarrassing. The word tasted like rust. For 18 years I ate lunch at my desk so I could deposit $694 a month into her wedding fund. For 18 years I wore the same work boots until the soles separated from the uppers. For 18 years I told myself that someday she would understand. And this was what she understood. That I was embarrassing. That I didn't fit in. That Nathan, the man who destroyed my marriage, who slept with my wife while shaking my hand, who took my place at my own daughter's side, that Nathan was the one who belonged. I put the phone face down on the passenger seat, looked through the windshield at my shop, at the sign that said Reed's Automotive in letters I'd painted myself 20 years ago, at the window where Harper's photo hung. Invisible from this angle, but they're always there. 2:47 p.m. I remember the exact time because I looked at the clock on my dashboard. Green digital numbers. Too bright for a moment this dark. 2:47 p.m. The rest of my life was about to start. I just didn't know it yet. Let me tell you what $150,000 looks like when you earn it $694 at a time. It looks like saying no over and over and over again. No to the fishing trip Douglas invited me on in 2007. No to the new truck I needed in 2011 when the old one started burning oil. No to the vacation I'd never taken. The retirement fund I'd never started. The life I'd never lived. $694. First of the month. Every month for 18 years. I opened that account the day Harper was born. March 12, 1993. Walked into First Community Bank with a $100 bill and a dream that felt as solid as concrete. For my little girl's big day I wrote on the envelope where I kept the passbook. I was 27 years old. I thought I knew what sacrifice meant. I had no idea. There's a gap. $2,800. Insurance won't cover it. So I dip into the wedding fund. First time I ever touch that money. I tell myself it's fine. It's still for her, right? Just a different form. But I can't let the balance sit there incomplete. So that month I eat ramen breakfast, lunch, dinner 4 weeks straight until I make back every penny. Then 2007 comes around. Harper's 14 now. She wants to go to volleyball camp. Some elite program up in Michigan. $3,200 for 2 weeks. Evelyn says, don't worry, Nathan will pay for it. And something in me just snaps. Not angry, just stubborn. I tell her, no, I'll pay. I wanted to pay. I want my daughter to know that her father can still provide. That I'm not just the guy who shows up on weekends with nothing to offer. So I take on extra work. Weekends, evenings, fixing cars in my own driveway, cash jobs under the table, nothing fancy. 3 months of that and I scrape together $3,200 with 2 weeks to spare. Harper goes to camp. She sends me one postcard the whole time. Just one. Thanks, Dad. 5 words. That's it. I still have that postcard. It's in my desk drawer tucked behind the receipts. Edges are worn now. I've looked at it too many times. Then 2009 hits. The divorce. Evelyn's lawyer was expensive, aggressive, knew all the tricks. The settlement left me with the shop, my tools, and a child support obligation that would take 18 years to fulfill. $1,200 a month. Non-negotiable, non-adjustable. I paid it every month. Even when the economy crashed and the shop nearly went under. Even when I spent 2 months in a back brace after a transmission fell on me. Even when I had to choose between paying Evelyn and paying my electric bill, I paid her first always. 216 payments. $259,200. But that wasn't the sacrifice that cost me the most. That was my father's Camaro. 1967 Chevrolet Camaro RS Rally Green with white stripes. My father bought it the year I was born. Drove it every Sunday until the day he died. He left it to me in his will. The only thing in that document worth anything. I kept that car for 15 years after he passed. Started the engine every Sunday morning just to hear it run. Told myself I'd restore it someday, take Harper for a ride in it, show her where she came from. Then 2012 happened. Harper was a sophomore at Northwestern. She called me in a panic. Needed $4,000 for a deposit on an apartment near campus. Had to have it by Friday or she'd lose the spot. I didn't have $4,000. The shop had just replaced 2 hydraulic lifts. The wedding fund was untouchable. I'd made myself a promise. So I called a collector in Cincinnati, a man who'd been asking about the Camaro for years. We settled on $38,000. He drove up the next morning with a cashier's check. I watched my father's car disappear down the street. Didn't even have time to say goodbye to it properly. Sent Harper the deposit that night, put the rest back into the wedding fund. She never asked where the money came from. I never told her. And then there was Diane. I met her at a church cook-off in 2018. Douglas dragged me there, said I needed to get out more. And she was a widow, 2 grown kids, worked as an ICU nurse at Riverside. Kind eyes, easy laugh, didn't mind the grease under my fingernails. For 4 years she was the best thing in my life. We talked about getting married, made plans, looked at rings, but every time we got close I'd think about Harper. What would she think if I remarried? Would she feel replaced? Would she stop calling altogether? Not that she called much anyway, so I kept putting it off. Next year, I'd say, when things settle down. Things never settled down and Diane got tired of waiting. Marcus, she said the night she left, you love Harper more than you're capable of loving anyone else, including yourself. Maybe especially yourself. She was right. I knew she was right. But knowing didn't change anything. I let her go. Told myself it was the noble choice, the fatherly choice. Now I know better. It was just fear. Fear dressed up as sacrifice. Fear that if I built a life for myself there'd be no room left for the daughter who'd already built a life without me. All those years, all that money, all those Sundays starting an engine just to feel connected to something. And what did I have to show for it? A text message. 127 words. The word embarrassing appearing twice. I sat in my truck outside the shop and did the math one more time. $150,000 in the wedding fund. $259,200 in child support. $38,000 for the Camaro. $89,000 for Northwestern after her scholarships. Thousands more for Brace's volleyball camps, birthday gifts, Christmas presents she probably threw away. Over $500,000. 31 years. And my daughter couldn't even call me. Couldn't even give me the dignity of a conversation. Sent me a text message like I was a subscription service she was canceling. Embarrassing for both of us. I looked at those words until they stopped looking like words. Then I looked at the clock. 2:51 p.m. I had a decision to make. For the next 49 minutes I sat in that truck and thought about my options. Option 1: call Harper back, beg, plead, remind her of everything I'd done, make her feel guilty enough to change her mind. But what would that get me? A pity invitation, a seat at the back of the room, the privilege of watching Nathan walk my daughter down the aisle while I sat there being embarrassing. No. I'd spent 31 years begging for crumbs of attention. I wasn't going to spend another day. Option 2: pay for the wedding anyway. Swallow my pride. Tell myself it was about Harper's happiness, not my ego. But that's what I'd been doing my whole life. Swallowing my pride, making excuses, pretending that if I just sacrificed a little more, gave a little more, asked for a little less, eventually she'd see me. She saw me now. She saw me clearly, and what she saw was embarrassing. Option 3: do nothing. Let the wedding happen. Let Nathan pay for it with money he got from selling cars while I was under them fixing what he couldn't. Let Harper have her French wedding with her French husband and her French life that had no room for a father who worked with his hands. But doing nothing felt like dying, like admitting that none of it mattered. That I'd wasted 31 years loving someone who'd never loved me back. There had to be a fourth option. Something that wasn't revenge but wasn't surrender either. Something that set a boundary without burning a bridge. At 3:15 p.m. I called Douglas. Marcus, what's up? I need to talk. You never need to talk. What's wrong? I told him all of it. The invitation, the text, Nathan walking her down the aisle, the word embarrassing. Douglas was quiet for a long time. What are you going to do? I don't know. That's why I'm calling. Marcus, that's a lot of money. I closed my eyes. It was never about the money, Doug. That's the point. Then what's it about? It's about respect. It's about 31 years of showing up and being told I don't matter. It's about, I tried to find the words. I'm not going to finance my own exclusion. I'm not going to pay for a party I'm not welcome at. And if she never speaks to you again? Then at least I'll know I stopped being a doormat. Silence on the line. Okay, Douglas said finally, I'm not going to talk you out of it. You're the most stubborn man I know. But Marcus, whatever you do, do it clean. Don't be cruel. Don't be petty. Just be clear. Thanks, Doug. And Marcus? Yeah? For what it's worth, I think you're right, and I think you've earned the right to stand up for yourself. I ended the call. 3:32 p.m. I opened my laptop and found the email from Camille Laurent, the wedding planner in Paris. The one Harper had CC'd me on 3 months ago when she first told me about the venue. Subject line: confirmation, full payment schedule. Read: Laurent wedding. Deposit paid $52,000. Venue: Chateau de Villette. Next payment due in 3 weeks, $98,000. Catering, flowers, photographer, music, everything else. Total $150,000. Paid by Marcus J. Reed. I stared at that email for a long time at my name at the bottom of a contract for a wedding I wasn't invited to. 3:40 p.m. I picked up my phone, dialed the international number. The phone rang 3 times, then a voice, French accent, professional, polished. Camille Laurent Events, Camille speaking. How may I help you? My name is Marcus Reed. I'm the one financing the wedding at Chateau de Villette, the Laurent Reed wedding. A pause. I heard papers shuffling, a keyboard clicking. Ah yes, Monsieur Reed. I have your account here. Is there something I can help you with today? Yes. I need to cancel all remaining payments and I want to request a refund on the deposit. Silence. 5 seconds. 10. Monsieur Reed, I'm not sure I understand. The wedding is in 11 weeks. I understand that. And you wish to cancel completely. All payments going forward and whatever portion of the deposit you can return. More silence. When she spoke again, her voice had changed. Softer, more careful. May I ask, is there a problem with the arrangements? Something we can address? I looked out the windshield at my shop at 23 years of work at a life built on showing up over and over whether anyone noticed or not. No, the arrangements are fine. I won't be attending the wedding. That's all. You won't be. I see. Another pause. Monsieur Reed, forgive me, but I must ask. You are the bride's father. Yes, I am. And you are not attending your daughter's wedding. Here's the thing about truth. It's simple. It doesn't need decoration. I wasn't invited. Apparently I don't speak French and that would be embarrassing. I heard her inhale a sharp little breath that said more than words could. I see. Let me look at your contract. Typing pages, turning a long pause. The standard terms state that deposits are non-refundable after 60 days. You are past that window. More typing. However, given the circumstances, I can petition the venue for a partial release. I may be able to return $31,000 of the $52,000 deposit. The venue will retain $21,000 as a cancellation fee. That's acceptable. And the remaining $98,000 payment that is cancelled as of this conversation. You will receive written confirmation within the hour. Thank you, Monsieur Reed. Yes, I have been doing this work for 15 years, many weddings, many families, many. She paused, searching for the word. Complications. I imagine so. You are not the first father to make this call, but you are the first to do it with such, another pause, such dignity. I am sorry for what has happened to you. I didn't know what to say. A stranger in Paris 5,000 miles away showing me more kindness than my own daughter. Thank you, Camille. One more thing, Monsieur Reed. Yes. When the bride contacts us, and she will contact us, do you want us to explain the reason for the cancellation? I thought about it, about Harper getting that call, finding out the money was gone, realizing maybe for the first time that her father wasn't just a checkbook with legs. No. Just tell her the account has been closed. She'll figure out the rest. Understood. Goodbye, Monsieur Reed. I wish you well. Goodbye, Camille. I ended the call. 3:53 p.m. 66 minutes since I read that text message. 13 minutes since I dialed Paris. $150,000 gone. 18 years of sacrifice erased. I sat in my truck and waited for the guilt to come. The regret. The voice telling me I'd just destroyed my relationship with my daughter forever. It didn't come. What came instead was something I hadn't felt in years, maybe decades. Clarity. I wasn't financing my own exclusion anymore. I wasn't paying for the privilege of being embarrassing. I wasn't subsidizing a life that had no room for me. For the first time in 31 years I had said no. Not to punish Harper, not to hurt her, just to stop hurting myself. At 4:30 p.m. I locked up the shop, got in my truck, started driving. Not home, not to Douglas's, to Lake Erie. It's a small lake about 40 minutes east of Columbus. Nothing special to look at. But when Harper was little, really little, before everything, I used to take her fishing there. She was terrible at it. No patience. Couldn't sit still for 10 minutes. But she loved the drive. Loved the stories I told her about my father teaching me to fish at the same lake 30 years before. "Grandpa sounds nice," she said once. "I wish I could have met him." "Me too, sweetheart. Me too." We stopped going after the divorce. Evelyn got the weekends. Nathan got her attention. The lake stayed where it was. I parked at our old spot, walked down to the shore, sat on a rock that might have been the same rock I sat on 100 times before. The water was still, the sun was getting low orange light on the surface like the lake was on fire. I didn't fish, didn't bring a pole, just sat there watching the light change, thinking about all the things I'd never get back. The money, the years, the little girl with cotton candy on her face. She was gone, had been gone for a long time. I was just finally admitting it. The sun set, the stars came out. I stayed until I couldn't see the water anymore. Then I drove home, checked my email, and found the confirmation from Camille Laurent. Subject: cancellation confirmed, read Laurent payment account. I read it twice. Then I turned off my phone for the first time in years. The silence was strange, heavy but not bad. Something had shifted. I could feel it, a door closing or maybe finally opening. The calls started 3 days later. I was under a Silverado replacing a fuel pump when my phone started buzzing on the workbench. I ignored it, let it go to voicemail. It buzzed again and again and again. I slid out from under the truck, wiped my hands, looked at the screen. 4 missed calls, all from Evelyn. The phone buzzed again, her name on the screen. I answered. "Marcus." Her voice was ice. The tone she used to use when I came home late from the shop, when I forgot an anniversary, when I didn't perform according to her standards. "What the hell did you do?" "I'm at work, Evelyn." "What do you need?" "You know damn well what I need. I just got off the phone with the wedding planner. You canceled the payments. You canceled everything." "I did." "Are you out of your mind? This is Harper's wedding. Her wedding, Marcus. And you're going to ruin it because what? Because your feelings got hurt." I walked outside, away from the shop, away from my employees. "My feelings?" "Yes, your feelings. Because she asked Nathan to walk her down the aisle because the ceremony's in French." "Grow up, Marcus. This isn't about you." "You're right. It's not about me. It never has been. That's the problem." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means she didn't invite me, Evelyn. She sent me a text message. Not a call, a text telling me I'd be embarrassing, that I don't speak French, that I don't fit in. And then she asked another man to walk her down the aisle. Nathan is her stepfather. Nathan is the man who slept with my wife." Silence. "That was 15 years ago, Marcus. And apparently it's still not long enough for me to forget or forgive. This is petty. This is childish. You're punishing Harper for something that happened when she was 16. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not paying for a party I wasn't invited to. There's a difference. The wedding is in 11 weeks. Then I suggest Nathan writes a check. He's good at taking things that aren't his. Shouldn't be too hard." I ended the call. 2 hours later, Harper called. I was in the office staring at a parts invoice I couldn't focus on. When I saw her name on the screen, something twisted in my chest, but I answered. "Dad." Her voice was different than I expected. Not angry, panicked. "How could you do this to me?" "Hello, Harper." "Don't hello Harper me. I just talked to Evelyn. You pulled the money. All of it." "I did. The wedding is in 11 weeks. Do you have any idea what this does? The venue, the caterer, the photographer, everything was booked under your payment plan." "I know. I set it up. Remember?" "Dad, why? Why would you do this?" I leaned back in my chair, looked at the empty spot on the wall where Harper's photo used to hang. I'd taken it down that morning, couldn't look at it anymore. "You didn't invite me, Harper." I explained. "You sent me a text message after I found out about the wedding from your aunt's refrigerator. After I called you 11 times and you didn't answer once, you sent me a text telling me I'd be embarrassing, that I don't fit in, that Nathan would walk you down the aisle." "Dad, it's not what? Not personal? Not hurtful? Not a complete dismissal of 31 years of being your father?" "I didn't think." "No, you didn't think. That's exactly right. You didn't think about me at all." Silence on the line. I could hear her breathing, quick, shallow, the sound of someone who wasn't used to being challenged. "Dad, please. Nathan said he'll cover the rest. We just need you to, then let Nathan cover it all. He's walking you down the aisle anyway. He's been playing my role for 15 years. Might as well let him pay for the privilege." "Dad, I'm not doing this to hurt you. Harper, I'm not doing it out of spite or anger or revenge. I'm doing it because I finally realized something." "What?" "I'm done being invisible. I'm done showing up and being told I don't matter. I'm done financing a life that has no room for me. That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" I felt something crack in my voice, steadied it. I saved $150,000 for your wedding 18 years. I sold my father's car to pay for your college. I turned down a chance at happiness because I didn't want you to feel replaced. And your response was a text message telling me I'm embarrassing. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? She didn't answer. That's what I thought. Dad, please can we just, you have my number, Harper. If you want to talk, really talk, not text, you know where I am. But I'm not changing my mind. And I'm not apologizing for having standards. Standards? You're destroying my wedding over standards. No, I'm respecting myself for the first time in 31 years. I'm sorry if that's inconvenient for you. Dad, goodbye, Harper. I love you. I've always loved you. But love without respect isn't love. It's just sacrifice. And I'm done being a sacrifice. I ended the call. The next day, a text from Nathan. Marcus, this is Nathan. I don't know what game you're playing, but you're hurting Harper. I'll cover the wedding. This isn't about money. It's about being a man. Maybe someday you'll understand what that means. I read it 3 times. Being a man. From the man who slept with my wife while I was fixing his car. From the man who raised my daughter with money he made selling BMWs to people who couldn't afford them. From the man who was walking her down the aisle because he fit in. He wanted to lecture me about being a man. I didn't respond. Some things don't deserve a response. 2 weeks later, Douglas showed up at the shop with a cardboard box. Old, dusty, sealed with tape that had yellowed with age. The kind of box you find in attics when someone dies. Found this cleaning out Mom's place, he said. Finally went through the last of the stuff in the basement. I think you need to see what's inside. He set it on my desk. I looked at it. Felt something cold move through me. What is it? Open it. I cut the tape. Inside were envelopes, white standard size envelopes, slightly yellowed. A child's handwriting on the front of each one. To Daddy. My hands started shaking. I picked up the first envelope. Postmarked October 2002. Harper would have been 9. Doug, where did these come from? They were in Mom's house. I think Evelyn gave them to her. Asked her to hold on to them. I don't know why. Maybe she was ashamed. Maybe she just wanted them gone. I opened the envelope. A single sheet of lined paper, purple pen, the handwriting of a child who was still learning cursive. Dear Daddy, I miss you. Mom says you're too busy to come see me, but I don't believe her. I hope you come this weekend. I have a picture I drew for you. It's us at the lake. Remember the lake? Love, Harper. P.S. I caught a fish, but it was too small, so we threw it back. You would have been proud. I put the letter down, picked up another one. November 2003. Dear Daddy, why didn't you come to my soccer game? I scored a goal. It was the winning goal. Everyone's dad was there except you. Mom said you had to work. But you promised you'd come. You promised. I'm not mad. I just miss you. Love, Harper. Another one. March 2004. Dear Daddy, I waited at the window all Saturday, but you never came. I hate you. No, I don't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Please come next time. Please. Love, Harper. There were 15 letters. 2002 to 2007, ages 9 to 14. 15 letters my daughter wrote to me. 15 letters I never received because Evelyn intercepted them. Because she told Harper I wasn't coming while I sat in the driveway. Every single time. I read every letter slowly, one by one, and with each one something cracked inside me, then broke, then shattered, because I remembered those weekends, all of them. I drove to that house every Saturday without fail, parked in the driveway, waited, and Evelyn would come out. She's at a friend's house, Marcus. She's not feeling well, Marcus. She doesn't want to see you today, Marcus. I believed her. For 6 years I believed her. And the whole time my daughter was inside writing letters, waiting at the window, thinking I had abandoned her. Doug. My voice came out broken. I know. She didn't know. Harper didn't know I was there. I know. Marcus, I was there every single time. And Evelyn told her I couldn't finish. Douglas sat with me while I processed it. An hour, maybe more. Neither of us said much. Finally he asked, does this change anything? I thought about it. Did it? Harper had been lied to, manipulated, taught to believe her father had abandoned her when he was sitting in the driveway waiting for a door that never opened. That explained so much. The distance, the coldness, the way she looked at Nathan like he was the one who had been there. But she wasn't 9 anymore. She wasn't 14. She was 31. And 31-year-olds have choices. She could have called me. Could have asked me what happened. Could have given me 5 minutes to explain before sending a text that called me embarrassing. She didn't. No, I said finally. It doesn't change anything. You sure? Those letters explain how we got here. They don't excuse where we are. I put them back in the box carefully, gently. She's not a child anymore, Doug. She made a choice. She chose to exclude me. She chose to replace me. She chose to do it via text message. Those aren't the actions of a manipulated child. They're the actions of an adult who decided I wasn't worth a phone call. Douglas nodded slowly. I'm keeping these, I said. But I'm not changing my mind. For what it's worth, I think you're right. Thanks, Doug. He stood up, put a hand on my shoulder. You okay? I looked at the box at 15 letters from a daughter who thought I had abandoned her. At 6 years of waiting at windows I never knew about. No, I said, but I will be. June 15th, the day of the wedding. I woke up at 5:30 a.m. same as always, made coffee black too strong, showered, put on my work clothes, drove to the shop. A Tuesday regular schedule, oil change at 8, brake job at 10, transmission diagnostic at 2. At 2 p.m. Columbus time, 8 p.m. in Paris, I was under a Ford F-150 replacing a Sway bar link. I knew what was happening 5,000 miles away. Harper would be putting on her dress. Nathan would be adjusting his tie. Etienne would be nervous probably. Guests would be finding their seats in some chateau I'd never see, waiting for a ceremony in a language I didn't speak. And I was here under a truck covered in grease doing what I'd always done, showing up. The customer, a regular named Pete, runs a landscaping company, stuck his head under the lift. You okay, Marcus? You seem off today. I slid out, wiped my hands on a rag that had seen better days. My daughter's getting married today in Paris. Paris? Damn. You flying out tonight or something? No, I wasn't invited. Pete's face changed. That uncomfortable mix of surprise and sympathy. Marcus, I'm sorry. That's rough. It is what it is. Listen, I don't know what happened between you two. None of my business, but I've been bringing my trucks here for 12 years. You've never once cheated me. Never once done a job wrong. You're good people, Marcus. Whatever's going on with your daughter, that doesn't change. I didn't know what to say. A guy I changed oil for showing me more kindness than my own family. Thanks, Pete. He paid his bill, drove away. I finished the day. At 6 p.m. I closed up the shop, got in my truck, drove to Lake Erie. I brought a fishing pole, this time a cooler with 2 beers and the photograph. Harper at 7 Ohio State Fair, cotton candy and trust. I sat on my rock, cast a line into the water, didn't catch anything, didn't expect to. The sun got low, the light turned orange, then pink, then purple, and I thought about boundaries. People think boundaries are walls. They think setting a boundary means ending a relationship, slamming a door, walking away forever. But that's not what boundaries are. Boundaries are doors not closed, just not wide open anymore. I didn't close the door on Harper. I just stopped being the only one holding it open. If she wants to come through, she knows where I am. She can knock. I'll hear it. But I'm done standing in the doorway waiting for someone who might never show up. I finished 1 beer, left the other one in the cooler. Some rituals don't feel right when you're alone. The stars came out. The same stars I used to show Harper when she was little. That's Orion, I'd say. The hunter. See his belt? 3 stars in a row. She'd nod even when she couldn't see it. Just happy to be there with me. I wondered if she remembered. Probably not. But I remembered. That was enough. I drove home around 10 o'clock. Phone still in the glove compartment. Still off. I didn't need to know how the wedding went. It wasn't my wedding anymore. It wasn't my story. My story was here in Columbus, in a shop that smelled like motor oil and strong coffee, in a life I'd built by showing up day after day whether anyone noticed or not. And for the first time in 31 years that felt like enough. 6 months later, the shop is still here. I'm still here. Some things don't change. Nathan covered the wedding. All of it. $119,000. The remaining balance plus the $21,000 deposit they couldn't recover. I heard about it from Douglas, who heard it from Laura. I didn't ask for details. The wedding happened. I saw one photo on Instagram. A friend of Douglas's showed it to me. Harper in white, Etienne in a gray suit, the chateau in the background like something out of a magazine. She looked beautiful. She looked happy. I closed the app and didn't look again. Some things you don't need to see twice. Then 3 weeks ago an email arrived. Not a text, an email from Harper. Subject, Dad. I stared at it for a long time. Then I opened it. Dad, I found the letters. The ones I wrote when I was a kid. Douglas told me where they came from. I don't know what to say. I didn't know. All those years I thought you weren't coming. I thought you didn't want to see me. I thought you had given up on me. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I know what I did was wrong. The text was wrong. Not inviting you was wrong. Everything was wrong. I just wanted you to know that I know now. That I understand now. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. Harper. I read it 3 times. Then I closed my laptop, went back to work, finished a timing belt, rotated some tires, drank coffee that was still too strong. That night I wrote a letter, not an email. A letter by hand on paper. Harper, I got your email. Thank you for telling me about the letters. I'm not going to pretend it didn't hurt. It did. It still does. But I want you to understand something. I didn't cancel the payment to punish you. I did it because I finally realized that love without respect isn't love. It's just sacrifice. And I was tired of being a sacrifice. You said I'd be embarrassing. Maybe I would have been, but I would have been there. That was always the point. The door isn't closed, Harper. It's just not wide open anymore. You'll have to knock. I'll be here. Dad. I put the letter in an envelope, wrote her address on the front. Didn't have a stamp, so I set it on my desk. It's still there. I haven't sent it yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Some things take time. Yesterday I hung the photograph back up. Not in the shop this time. At home on my refrigerator where I can see it when I want to, not because I have to. Harper at 7. Cotton candy. Ohio State Fair. The little girl who trusted me not to let her fall. She's not that girl anymore. Maybe she never was. Maybe that girl only existed in my head, in my hopes, in the stories I told myself to get through the hard years. But I was that father. I was the man who showed up, who paid, who waited in driveways and sent checks and saved $694 a month for 18 years. I was there. Even when no one saw me, even when no one believed me, even when my own daughter thought I had abandoned her, I was there. And now for the first time I'm done proving it. Here's what I know now. After 31 years of being a father, you can't make someone love you. You can't make someone respect you. You can't sacrifice your way into someone's heart. But you can respect yourself. You can set a boundary. You can say, this is what I will accept and this is what I won't. And you can keep the door unlocked just in case they decide to knock. If this story meant something to you, if you've ever had to draw a line with someone you love, I'd like to hear about it. Leave a comment. Share your story. You're not alone. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time. Every week, stories about boundaries, dignity, and the hardest decisions we make. Take care of yourselves. And remember, boundaries aren't walls. They're doors. You just don't have to hold them open by yourself anymore.